Welcome to our Trade to Developer podcast. My name is Suzanne Elsey.
My name is Craig Shields, and we've often been asked to share how we've transitioned from trade to developer. We're now ready to reveal all. This episode's going to be about layouts, and Suzanne, one of the great things about working with yourself is that when changing layouts in the developments, on not just for the interior design side but for the build side, and you add a lot of value to the business of what you do on there. You explain?
Yeah, thank you. So typically everything we do has planning permission, and even the ones we don't do, we check out the planning permission it's got in place, and is it something we can work with? Is it going to be what the demographic of whoever's going to live there, buy it, rent it, is going to want? And what I've done in the past with clients is maximise their space so that when they're using it well. There's good flow throughout the building. And it's really, really important for when people are living there. I've been into so many new build properties that you can literally fit a bed in and there's no room for wardrobes. And yet you've got an ensuite bathroom.
And the bed's under the window.
Yeah, the bed's under the window, which I really hate. Never let me live that one down, will you? So yeah, I have a few pet peeves, one of which is beds under a window. So I typically will look at plans and look to tweak them a little bit in order to make them more appealing, so that when it comes to marketing them in whatever capacity, they are as appealing as they possibly can be for the end user. So every project we've done, I've changed layouts, but that's the same for every client I've done previously as well. I've changed layouts. And that can be minor little things like, changing which way the sofas face, but actually on our developments, it's typically changing where the rooms are placed. It might be moving walls around. There's lots of case studies on my Furnishing Interiors page that you can have a look at and see examples of how we've changed layouts. But there's lots of tips and tricks that I can share, which help you to identify those themselves. And what you have to realise is, with an architect putting something into planning, it's all about the external aesthetics as opposed to the internal layouts. They just make sure that the internal layouts are hitting certain criteria, so minimum space standards, for example. And it's just to get through planning. So you have to really see that as a guideline to what you could do internally. It doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. So storage is a big bugbear of mine. Another one is not having a washing machine spinning in the open plan living, dining room and kitchen, because you could be sitting there watching the sport or a movie and the washing machine's about to take off in the corner. So that's another one that we try and, if we can't get a utility room in, we try and have a utility cupboard so that it's hidden away behind a fireproof door, fire resistant door. There's loads of other little bugbears I have, which we try and accommodate in our projects. Also, the architects never seem to get the storage area right for where the services come in. They're always too small, or they're in a location that's just in the way and actually impedes using the space. They're not really thinking about it very well. They just stick it by the front door for ease, when actually that might not be the best place to put it. So yeah, very much look at the layouts, review them, picture how I'm going to walk through the rooms and use the rooms. So is it a single person? Is it a couple? Is it an older couple, younger couple? Is it a family? And really view that, how they're going to use the space and how you can improve that space for them.
The course that me and you run together, people just think trades is all to do with just trades that have got tools in the back of their van, but obviously this is what we're talking about, of where we work well with each other, that the trades is not just like interior design is a big part, and layout is a big part of what we do, and adding value to what we do, but also following the stages of making sure that your interior design business is great, so you can have time, because it takes still got time out of the day to do this, so absolutely.
And I think when we say trades, it can be anybody that's working in the property industry that has some knowledge of construction or improving that space. because it can be applied to any of those.
Yeah, we've got a customer
areas.
journey that needs to be looked after first of all to make sure that you can still deliver on that side of things. And also the same thing is if you're going back to the banks and everything when we're doing developing, that they know that you've got credibility of what you've done before. So changing the layouts some people can change layouts that don't know what they're doing and can actually devalue the property, do you know? So
and I think also you have to take the emotion out of each deal. Whether that's to do with your numbers, which is hugely important. You can't make those numbers fit. If they don't fit, they don't fit. You have to walk away and look for the next deal. But it also means you can't get emotionally attached. A lot of people go wrong because they suddenly start putting in the taps that they would like, which are 3 times the price. Or they think, well, actually, I'll have this in their worktop or flooring because that's what I want at home. Which you don't need to do. It's good to do a high quality finish, but it doesn't have to be what you would spend at home. You don't have to do the designer brands, for example, as long as the quality's good.
That you can buy one that looks as good, but a good quality. Yeah. I think obviously about buy-to-lets as well is making sure that you put stuff into them that if you're keeping them for long term, you don't want them to break neither. So it's knowing the product as well, isn't it? So.
Yeah, there's no point going cheap, but at the same time, you don't have to go for top brand either. It's taken us 7 years to make the transition from working with clients through to developing our own portfolio, and we can speed that up for you. If any of this resonates, please do register now and we can help you transition yourself from trade to developer in just 12 months. Quite a lot of that is to do with actually cleverly designing things. So you can use a really cheap Howden's kitchen, but you can make it look like it's loads more expensive by choosing different handles, different worktops, and nice taps and things like that, and just a well designed and well placed kitchen. And just remember, most kitchen companies are there to sell kitchens. They want maximum units sold. So it's not always actually about the function and how you're going to use the space. It's actually about how many units can they sell to you.
That's right. I think that we've done, cheaper appliances behind the utilities, as in integrated fridge freezers, but then the stuff that's on show is having a nice hob and oven on show, saves on the cost as well. And then obviously the units, I think you can get, obviously like you're saying, for cheaper, and then putting a nice solid worktop on top. So where you'd pay out more for it all in one place, you can just shop around to tap from there, worktops from there, Howden's kitchens, appliances from online, and it's using that trade knowledge that we've got and everyone should have to put into their own project. So I think a lot of trades would probably walk on and go, why did you buy it all from Wren? Why did you go to Wren and get everything from then? You could have got that. And the client's like, well, I don't know. But obviously as trades, we know. So that's the added value that I think trades have got to understand of what they can actually do for their own developments, because they just think like, we just do what we need to do. I ain't got the money to do it, and obviously, but with the added layouts that you do, and it goes for all the trades, can add a lot of value to the projects.
Absolutely, definitely. And I think the other thing to remember is a lot of the skills you have in your normal business, I'm going to say, are transferable.
Yeah,
it might feel like you're doing something risky or, higher level, but actually you're not. It's just a slight change. Yeah. It's actually quite an easy transition. You actually are doing the same things, but you're just doing them for yourself instead of the client. And it actually is actually less stressful because you're managing other people's expectations.
Well, it's natural, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not waiting for them to make decisions. You're not getting them change their mind because it's all on your decision basis. So there's so many advantages for doing your own development.
Yeah, productivity will be quicker if you make your own decisions, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think the key thing is just remember, review the plans, look for any things that you think, actually, if I was living there, would I like that? One of our developments had a really, really tiny little lobby before you went into this massive hallway, which for a family home, it's a 4-bedroom detached house. People are going to have big shopping bags. They might be carrying, children in carry seats or carrying children on their hip. And it was just going to be such a tight space. It's just not practical. So by rejigging that layout, it's a much wider hallway. The overall hallway in the middle is smaller but actually it's more evenly spread, and it's made some of the other rooms bigger, and we've been able to add a utility room as well, which
and
was
an
needed.
understairs toilet.
Absolutely. So so it really does assist on how people are going to use the space. It's not about just getting something built. It is, if you want it to sell quickly, rent quickly, have no voids, whether it's service accommodation, HMO, whatever, it doesn't matter what the end strategy is. But if you want to minimise voids and maximise value and speed up the process, having the layouts right and having really good quality inside is the key. That's the magic.
Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for your support, and please subscribe to the upcoming podcasts.
Just remember the famous quote from Henry Ford: if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.